glad you found New Friends, my podcast. I'm Jordana, I'm 20, I live in Nashville, and I moved here right after graduating high school to pursue my dream of being a singer-songwriter, which basically means I skipped the whole college thing and dove headfirst into trying to make music and make sense of life at the same time. I started New Friends because I wanted to create the kind of space I've always needed, a place to talk about the things we're all trying to figure out: friendship, confidence, self-worth, following your own path, and everything in between. Some episodes are solo, some are with guests, sometimes the conversations even turn into songs, but every episode is rooted in honesty, vulnerability, and feeling a little less alone. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to New Friends.
What do you see? I mean, what do you see where you want to be, where you want to ultimately go?
I mean, I think that I talk about it a lot, but I think that when you're going for a career like this, like any other career today that's a moonshot, you have to have a really strong why. And your why has to ground you. And that's, I think, where the willingness comes from. Like, it's you have to want it so badly and have such a good reason for wanting it that you are willing to do whatever it takes and, put in as much work as it takes, and work when everyone else is asleep, and work when everyone else is out, and find so much purpose in that. And for me, it really is, I want to make a positive impact on people. I want to know that when my life is over, that I've really made people feel seen and made people feel like they were part of something bigger.
I like that.
And I think that it is from the gratitude that I feel very lucky that I have had a community in my life and a family in my life that make me feel loved. And not everyone has that in their life. But I think we're very lucky that we live in a world where people can do that from across the phone. They can do that from across the world.
Right.
And if I could know that I made people feel loved in their life, that would make me feel really fulfilled and like I took what I had in my life and I ran with it and I deserved it, you know?
No, I like that. I like that a lot. It's interesting because I told someone, I said, I just hope that the room feels better after I left than it was when I got there. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like with my second half of, I would say the second half of my life, as I'm about to turn 60, it's like my focus is on the parents and the kids. It's like, I just know that if we can give them the tools they need at the beginning stages of their career, then we may not have any more 50, 60, and 70-year-olds that come to me and say, God, I wish I would have met you like 20 years ago. What made you in your family start seeking help? Even before you met me, you guys were always just reaching out to people. It's like, and you weren't coming in like, let me set this up the right way. Everyone would come to town and want to take us to lunch to pick our brains, any of the experts. You guys always came to town and said, how can we work with you? How can we hire you? It's like most people don't think like that. Where did that come from?
I credit my dad for a lot of that because he has a really strong sense of you don't need to know it all. And in fact, you shouldn't pretend you do because you're only hurting yourself if you do. You need to find experts in the fields. Focus on you can do one or two things really, really well, and you can know that and absolutely not need anyone's help in that field. But in all of the other fields that you need to become competent in, find an expert and also understand the fact that whatever you're doing has to be beneficial for both people. So think about what's in it for the other person. And he's always been really good at that in his own life of finding compromises.
That's why he's been very successful in business too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people only focus on what they need from a situation, and I think it's really important to find what both people can benefit. So especially when I've been doing the podcast, like I want guests on who I think will have a fun conversation. I think will be, able to talk about something that people want to hear. But I also have to understand that they're giving up an hour of their time to do this. So what's in it for them? I want to create a spot for them to promote what they are working on and them to spotlight their wins and help more people, get to know if they're an artist, their music, or if they're a songwriter, what they're working on. And I think it's something that I've learned in my life because of my family of like focus on, what's in it for both people. And so I think that when you're coming to experts, trying to find that is really important. But also, I think that a lot of times we don't ask people who we'd really love to get advice from or work with or whatever it may be because we think that they're too busy and we think that they won't care. And that is the world's biggest lie, because you would be shocked at the amount of people who really do want to help and want to reach downward and pull someone up because someone did that for them. And I mean, just send the email, like send the DM.
The answer is no until
the
you
answer
say,
is no until you ask.
Right.
And I always, when people are like, so how do you meet songwriters and how do you like find artists to collab with and how do you find a producer? I'm like, send so many DMs and emails that you physically think there's no one else to email, because you have to expect that 19 in 20 people will not respond.
Sure. And a lot of
but
them.
One in 20 will. And so
out of the blue, collaboration would never have happened.
Oh my gosh, I know. And I mean, I still have to remind myself all the time. I'm lucky that I have a community around me that does, because in that situation, I wanted to send Joseph, I loved his voice. I wanted to send him a DM and ask him if he would do this song, but I was like, but he has almost 1 million monthly listeners.
You
and I have 200,000.
The same thing happened with Alexa.
I know.
You tried it and you're like, what should I do? And I said,
I was like, she
just
has so
reach out
much
and
more
tell her.
going on.
Yeah.
Like, she's not going to want to do this.
She responded back so fast.
I know. And it's crazy. And so you just have to like send the DMs, because you never know. And even when people don't respond, keep sending the DMs, because the percentage sometimes can be really low, but that's still successful. Like, think about, and I'm not a sports person, but think about like batting averages. A really good one is, I'm waiting for you because I don't know.
Yeah, 300 batting average means that they strike out or don't get on base 2/3 of the time.
Exactly. When you think about tennis as a field that I actually know really well.
Good, because I was going to be screwed.
Roger Federer, arguably the best player of all time. He made only 50% of the shots that he won 50% of the points that he played. That's pretty crazy considering he's the best of all time. So like, go into it assuming that if 1 in 3 people, if 1 in 10 people, if whatever it may be responds to you, that you're wildly successful, and don't let the no's or the no responses get in your way.
I also think having realistic expectations at who you're approaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's something that you've been really good at. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't. They're like, well, why won't Jay-Z respond back to me?
Well, what's in it for him? I mean, we're going back to what we said. Like, why is it beneficial for both people?
Right. And I think, too, what I want some people to understand is that I have many mentors in my life that I've never met personally, whether I read their book, whether I listened to them on a podcast, whether I paid them for, some I've met. I will reach out and I'll say, listen, what would it cost for an hour of your time? A lot of times they'll just give it to me because of the way that I approach them.
Yeah.
I've done that in the past.
People want to help. There
are certain times, and sometimes if someone just gives it to you, there's no value in it because it was free. I always say, if those who pay attention. And that's when I started charging people for lunches, because I would go to lunch and they would pick my brain, and they all thought I would just say how great I thought them and their kid was and get them into a record company. And I was just sharing the work that needed to be done. And that's what was really different about you and your family is I said, here's the work that needs to be done. And you just kept doing the work. And that's why, the article that Brian West, and Brian has, become a huge supporter and fan of yours. And those of you that don't know Brian, he's the beat writer, the Taylor Swift beat writer for the Tennessean. Who would have thought you had, we have beat writers that cover wars. She's got her own beat writer,
I know, isn't that pretty crazy?
at the Tennessean. But when we met Brian and he just started, falling for you, but it was one of those things where I just went to an event and he happened to be at it.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking and we were talking about other things unmusic related. And he's like, oh, what are you working on? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
here's this. But it's one of those things where I look back and I'm always like, how can we get the right people in the right rooms for them to be able to take advantage? Because a lot of times people aren't
Mm-hmm.
in a position to take advantage of that opportunity.
It's also interesting when you talk about like going to an event and networking. And for me, that was, I would have to say, out of all of the skills that I have, that was the weakest skill. That was the thing that I was the most nervous to do. I hated going out to events and stopping someone in the middle of their conversation and saying, excuse me, hi, I know you don't know me, but I'm Jordana. Like, I felt so uncomfortable. And I think that as kids, we're taught that wherever our strengths lie, to lean into that. I would actually say wherever your weaknesses lie, lean into that, because those are the areas that you need to grow in. And I used to have this philosophy of, if I did something and it didn't come naturally, like, just stop. Like, it would even show up in like, oh, I did a workout class and this was so hard, like never doing that again. And then like one day my philosophy just changed, and it was like, whenever I find myself being like, that was so hard, I never want to do that again, be like, I'm going to do that every single day until it becomes like, oh, that's so easy. And
I see, I'm opposite, I think, sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. I always say, focus on what you're good at, outsource your weaknesses, because it just takes time away from.
No, I mean, I think that's very valuable in the sense of.
It's different in business.
Yes. In business, I think
but in life, I like your philosophy a lot better.
But in life, I think that you can't run from the areas where you need to grow, because I think that there's like, if I'm horrible at like basketball, it doesn't necessarily mean that I need to invest like my entire life in becoming good at basketball. But if it's like, I really struggle with vulnerability or confidence or, like learning to put other people first or whatever it may be, like that's the area to lean into.
Put yourself in those situations to where you have to get through it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people, like when it comes to their dream, there's something that's standing in the way. And
usually it's them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's interesting too is, as an artist, there's only so much that a manager can run interference on. At some point, you're going to be the one being interviewed. You're going to be the one in the office with the president of the record label. You're the person. So I think it does an injustice to the artist if their handlers or their people are always doing everything for them.
Yeah.
And that's what's been real impressive with what you've got going on, is that you take a lot of this on yourself, and your mom has her role and your dad has his role and I have my role, but we all report to you. It's like you are the CEO, and there's a lot of artists that think they are.
Yeah.
But they don't know what's going on in their business. And those are the artists that end up getting taken advantage of. And those are the artists that end up wondering, why is all this stuff happening and I don't have any control over it or anything like that.
It's interesting because I think that there's different advice that different people need in the career of music and whatever career really you're going into. But I think for a lot of people, you need to be fully in control and not let anything go by you and really sink your teeth and be the last one like out of the office and the first one in. And then for other people, you need to learn to give up control in the moments where it makes sense. Like I'm very much someone who it's like, you need to learn to take breaks when you need them, because you can't just like.
When are you going to start doing that? When are you going to take your own advice?
That's a great question, Mike. For another episode.
I send her so one night, it's very funny. So she got sick And I think she just got exhausted because she had been doing so much. So she's responding back to emails. It's like 11:30, 11:40 at night, not realizing that I was copied on this particular email. And I sent her a text. I'm like, you go to bed right now. It'll be there in the morning, you know?
You know what? I did that to Riley yesterday because she gave birth on... So Riley is amazing. You've probably seen her in videos if you watch my videos, and she will help me like edit content and stuff like that and post some things. And I saw her post something to my story
While she...
the day that she gave birth.
Oh my gosh,
and I was like,
that's Riley,
stop, go rest. Like, you literally just birthed a human. Like... If there's any time to take off, now would be
This would be it.
But it's funny because
This would be it.
there's no specific rules in life. It's like the exact advice that one person needs is the exact opposite advice that another person needs.
So when I got COVID, I remember I got up, I went to the bathroom. I'm holding both sides of the wall. I use the bathroom. As I'm walking back, I faint. And I hit my eye on the corner, and I'm laying on the floor in my underwear, bleeding out of my eye.
Oh my God.
Jill's just called the paramedics and everybody coming to the house. I'm crawling to the bathroom to put on shorts. I don't want to be the fat guy laying there in my underwear with blood coming out. So they get me up into the bed, and they're like, we got to get you to the hospital. I said, but I have a webinar at 3:00.
Oh my God, Rick.
Jill's like, I think they'll understand that you need to cancel or redo it. So I know what it's like to not put things down. So as much as I bust your chops on that, I'm the same way. But
And it's a hard balance because I think that all of the advice that we see of people who are successful, the Michael Jordans, the Tony Robbins, it's literally work until you are falling on the floor. Like, be the person who works harder than anyone else. Never give up, like never stop. And I think that that's very real advice that a lot of us need to take is like, push yourself further than you think you can go. But at the same time, there's an aspect of like, how do you weave in? It's something that I've like, I'm still trying to make sense of it, is how do you weave in rest and recovery and like your needs?
I had to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
Because I used to say yes to everything.
I think it's an issue that a lot of us struggle with.
And that's where it that's when I started creating courses.
Yeah.
Is because I couldn't be with everybody all the time. And I kept saying the same thing, but I felt bad. And it's like, and that's how I helped other people create courses. I'm like, what do you do when someone can't afford you?
I mean, how do you reconcile the fact that you want to help as many people as possible and you want to work as hard as you can with the fact that you also, to be able to do that, like at some point need to rest and say no to things?
I think now that I'm older, it's easier. Before, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I left Taylor. I was gone 187 days. My daughter was 4. My son was 2. I was missing birthdays. I was missing anniversaries. It was like I was putting everything before the family and my health. And it's like I wake up one day and realize I'm almost 300 pounds. I was having health issues, and I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, if I keep doing this, was one of the most life-changing conversations that I ever had when I called and I said, Taylor, I need to have a conversation with you. And most people would have never walked away from the money. Most people, but see, my goal was never to be a manager. Remember, I wanted to be Casey Kasem. I wanted to be the guy on the radio. But it was at that point that it all changed for me so that I could set boundaries. Because I had no boundaries, you know, and also too, as my wife, she made a comment to me one time, and you know my wife, she said, Rick, she said, I wish you treated us, being her, Logan and Brianna, the way that I treat my clients, because when we need something, you don't have time, but when they need something, you drop whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm like,
because
what a crap dad and what a crap husband. That's what
yeah, and I'm sure it was like, I think I'm not saying no to anyone, but really I am saying no, and I'm saying no to my family and the people who matter most to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And I remember the first time I had the nerve to say no to a client or a label that I was consulting, and they were like, okay. I was like, wait, it's not the end of the world that I said no? They're like, no, go be with your family. They go, we just keep coming to you because you always say yes. We understand it. We get it. And I'm like, this is on me.
Yeah.
You know, they were going to be, I was afraid, they'll never understand. Oh, they completely understood. But if you let people walk all over you, they will continue to walk all over you. So I think that's where I had to put boundaries. You know, now I like to golf. And I've kind of set up my day where I get up 6:30 in the morning. I'm on the golf course by 7:30. I'm done by 9. And then I'll set up my meetings to start at 10 o'clock. You know, we have our meeting. It's at 10 o'clock. Well, golf course is closed on Mondays, and that's when we meet. But with everyone else, it's like they're like, everyone thought I was retired. And I'm like, no, I just said, do I want to sit in my office and not be as productive because I'm looking out the window wishing I was someplace else? Or do I take care of me first thing in the morning before I take care of everyone else? Brendan Burchard used to say, he said, listen, he said, in the morning, do not check your email. Do not check social media. He says, because once you do, you're on somebody else's agenda. You're not on your agenda anymore.
It's also very interesting to hear that they've done studies about how your brain works, and it does work differently at different parts of the day.
Yep.
And the morning, you can do the most mental work. So the morning, they always say eat the frog first.
Okay.
But I think that really is because in the morning, you are at the maximum capacity of what your brain can really do. So do the heavy lifting in the morning.
Got that.
Then, and also don't have the like corporate meetings in the morning is what they say. Like the meetings where people are just sitting there and not really doing the big thinking. I mean, we have our meetings in the mornings where we're really like trying to tackle big issues of how do we, you know, get the music out to more people? How do we market this? How do we whatever? But in the mornings, do the big heavy lifting. Then after you eat lunch, after like once you're in the afternoon, you're kind of in the lull. So that's when it's best to do the emails, to do the like the tactical things that you don't really need to think about, to do the like the checking of the boxes. And then at night is when you're actually most creative. So in the like late afternoon to, you know, the evening is really when you can do the creative parts. And it's interesting because I'm sure it's different for different people, but I think that starting off your morning by doing something for yourself also really helps me to dive into the big things. Like I've found that when I give myself an hour to go to a fun workout class and get a smoothie and whatever it is.
Solid core.
Rick's on my calendar and he could see all of my classes. You know what? I got it for the first 2 weeks. You pay like $80 and you get unlimited classes.
Really?
Unlimited classes. So I've signed up for like every single class.
That's
of every day for my 14 days. By day 2, I was like, this is a really bad idea. But today was day 3 and we're finally seeing some positive movement.
That's right.
But you know what I said? The first day I was like, I hate this. I never want to do it again. And so I was like, okay.
That's the way I felt about Orange Theory when I tried it for the first time.
Until I say I love this. And it does switch. It's crazy. But like the things that are really hard at first, that doesn't mean it's not something that you won't enjoy. Like I think it's interesting that if you stick with something long enough, and it has to be something that you want to stick with, like I said, but if you stick with something, it's crazy because bar 3, I hated it the first class I did. And now it's one of my favorite workouts, solid core, like same thing. Have you done Body 20 yet? Or Body 30 or whatever, where they put you in the electric shock suit where they wet the suit down and it's putting pulses on you while you're, it's called like Body 20. It's a 20-minute workout, which is supposed to be. No, I haven't done that.
Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah.
Where do you do that? It's called
Body 20.
Body 20.
Called Body 20. And they put you in a suit and it's like it's sending, you know, like I have those red light therapy with the little zapper things on the thing, you know, little electric stuff. That's what they do. And
it's interesting.
It's your whole body is being like, I've got that little ab thing, you know. So this is a whole suit that does that.
I have to try that.
Oh, you will.
I have to try that. I mean, that's super fun. I think I love the workout classes because like it was something that like I really struggled with over exercising for a while, and it became something that I could then reclaim as something that was I did for
enjoyable
fun.
And not obsessive.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I did for me, not because I was trying to do something that would have some certain result. It's something that I now do because it feels like 60 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever of time where I can not focus on all of the...
Turn it off.
Yeah, not focus. I'm very goal driven and success obsessed.
Right.
And it's hard for me to find moments where I'm not thinking about like, how are we going to achieve this goal and how... Rick, get off your butt. I don't care. It's Saturday.
I just sent you a Dropbox folder. Take a look. Oh, it's only 90 videos. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's something that I've definitely had to reorient, is that like I am someone who does not like I enjoy taking days off, but I also really enjoy working. I mean, I think that's what I like. I genuinely love what I do.
I think you need to have more mini vacations.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks, just drive hard and then take like a 4-day break and then drive hard for 3. You know, to me, that's what I'm seeing with you is it's like you go. And it's like, and that's hard when someone's in a rhythm to be the one that comes and says, get out of your rhythm.
Yeah.
But I also know and have seen it destroy people before too. And I think that's where it's just finding that work-life balance, is that what they call it? Finding that happy work-life balance where you're not, when you're supposed to be away enjoying yourself, you're not thinking about, well, this is what I should be doing this. It's like my wife and I just recently postponed our 25th anniversary trip. And I said, we'll take it at another time. I said, but she's got some family health stuff that she's dealing with her parents. I said, why are we going to be in Portugal when all we're going to be thinking about is your parents?
Yeah.
That's a disservice. They would hate it if that's what they knew we were doing on our, I said, so we can just kind of reschedule. But I think that's what's going to be best for you is that it's, you know, how they have those, the 4-hour work week, the 4-day work week where it's 4-day on, 3-day off kind of thing. That's almost going to be like you, like 4 weeks, take a week, 4 weeks, take a week. Because when you're going, and it's hard to tell you to stop without you getting sick and then having to stop. So what can we do about that? Now that we have you on camera, on tape, being recorded. So what can we do about that?
You know, it's a great question.
Got you, Randy. Yeah.
I think that...
Think about it.
I
You
will
don't have
think
to
about
answer it right now,
No,
but
I mean,
but
I
think
think
about
that it's-
how we can incorporate where you're just grinding for like 3 weeks and then you take a couple days off,
I mean, I
or
do
go
think
back to
it's-
Pennsylvania for 4 days and then come back and just work solid for like 3 weeks.
I do think that for me, like, a calendar can be my best friend. Like, if I put it in my calendar,
She has
I'll
5
do
calendars, though. You have a lot of best friends. Because I'm on one calendar, your mom's on one calendar, you and your dad are on one calendar.
No, you know what? I really only use one calendar.
Okay.
Google Calendar is really the only one I use now.
Okay.
That's why I add everything, and then he can see everything in my
You know
calendar.
what somebody told me
because
once?
I don't
that
want to use multiple
if it's
calendars.
not written down, it's not real.
Exactly. And I mean, like now I do try to put this on a different calendar because I don't want you to see, but I'll block out my day in like 30-minute chunks. And so I don't want you to see the like 20 things that are in my calendar of like 30 minutes vocal drills, 30 minutes schedule posts, 30 minutes prep song ideas for songwriting session, like whatever, all of those things.
For those that always ask me, how do you accomplish more? That's how you do it.
Oh yeah, a calendar.
You have to block schedule. You have to just put aside
you will
time.
waste so much time if you don't have it scheduled in your calendar.
I'm glad you have that,
like,
but I'm
so
also
that,
glad I
that
don't
really
see
helps.
it.
But I do think that like scheduling breaks in my calendar is something that I think really helps. And I also think it's like reframing it. For me, I was like, I'm definitely someone who I find it very gratifying when someone says to me, "You're working too hard, stop." Like that is like my dopamine hit. It's like, oh, I'm doing something good.
Okay.
And I think that I need to.
Are you addicted to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes me feel really good about myself. I think that working really hard like feeds into my self-worth. And I think that that's something that I've been aware of, that I need to set breaks for myself without someone telling me. And I can't rely on someone else giving me permission to do something for myself for it to be okay.
Have you ever heard of the 50-minute focus finder?
No, I haven't.
So the 50-minute focus finder is basically you set a stopwatch. You only focus on one thing for those 50 minutes. And then when it's done, you stop it, you get up, you do a walk, you drink some water. If you still haven't finished your task, you stay on that task, but you do 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 50 minutes on. That way you're hydrating, that way you're eating, that's way you're getting up. And you eliminate all distractions during that time. Because, so I'll share with you. There's
That's a
video.
good one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 50-minute focus finder.
Yeah, I think that makes a big difference. And I think that it's interesting because like it's a very fine line between what the right habit is and what the wrong habit is, you know?
Yep.
Like,
what's healthy and what's not healthy.
Yeah, exactly. It's very true. And it's interesting that everyone's balance is different, and it's finding what's right for you because, you know, as much as we talk about like this is the common thread, this is what everyone should do, like it's different. Everyone has a different like structure. Like you said that you love to golf in the mornings. Certain people love to, you know, work late at night. There's lots of creatives who love
that way.
Like who are songwriters who love to write at night and then they'll wake up late and that's the schedule that works for them. And I think it's knowing yourself and knowing
that's the best
what you
advice.
want, you know?
Doing what's right for you, building your life around you and not letting someone else kind of do that. So is there anything else that you want to ask me?
You know, something that I'd love to actually ask you, because it's something that you do so well, and I think some people struggle with it, and it's interesting to me. You work really, really well with young women, and you're really good at honoring someone's voice when they're still trying to find it. I think that's really impressive because, you know, being a young woman in the industry, I think there's lots of tables that I've sat at where it doesn't feel like people want to hear my voice or even have the understanding to listen, you know? And I think that it's something that I was really surprised by, the fact that you really let me lead and you really helped me find my voice and find the confidence to steer the ship. And I think that that's something that's a pattern in your career of you've really been a champion for these girls as they've been trying to find that confidence. And I think that makes such a big impact on people. And I think that part of that is something that you see, like dads with daughters are really good at listening to young girls and, for lack of better words, hyping them up and making them feel really confident. How do you feel like that's developed in your life? How do you feel like you've learned? Because I'm sure it wasn't a conscious thing, but I feel like you've really learned it.
It's funny. I coached girls soccer from the 12-year-olds that were called the Miss Americas because that's what they felt about themselves, that they were the Miss Americas, and they'd ran off like 3 coaches. I coached girls high school soccer. So I was around 13-year-old to 18-year-olds and realized that, you know, there's not a 5-year difference. It's like a 100-year difference. And with young teenage females, it's either the lowest of the lows or the highest of the highs. There really wasn't anything in the middle. But I also think maybe being raised by a mom.
Yeah.
I've always had a way of, you know, and I had a young mother. My mom had me at 16 years old.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, it was funny because her and her dad said I was a planned pregnancy at 16 years old because she wanted to get away from her mother.
Wow.
And also too, my daughter, Brianna, when she was born, she was a preemie. So she was half breast milk, half formula. And I was still doing morning radio at the time. So I got to spend every night. I gave her last feeding and her first feeding in the morning, and Jill was able to sleep like 12 hours. And when Jill went back to work, Brianna was with me all the time, and she's an amazing young lady. And Taylor trained me as well. It's just so. I guess that's one of my superpowers, but I also goes back to what I said earlier, and I think you and I talked about this a bit. Is if I say I want to have as much impact as I can in the world, and I don't allow you to do what it is that you do or give you the tools to do what it is that you do, then I'm hindering what it is that I say that I want to do. Because I always looked at it like, if I help you get a song out there that impacts people's lives and we see how these people respond to you, I played a little part of that. Maybe that's going to get some of my karma that I destroyed back in the 80s. But I thank you for seeing that. That's what I hope that I do, because people that don't know me think that I'm loud and I'm obnoxious and I'm a control freak. And
Rick is a teddy bear.
And sometimes I guess I come across like that. But I think for you, it's different. It's different because I can be honest with you. It's like, you don't expect me just to kiss your butt or tell you how great you are. It's like, you expect me to say, hey, what do I need to work on?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people. Taylor was like that. Taylor was like, I can get my parents to tell me how great I am. Dude, what do I got to work on? What is it that I want to do? So I don't know that it's with everyone that's the feeling they would get from me as being empowering, but I'm glad it happens with you, because that's what you need. You need the freedom to make mistakes, but you also need the trust to know that I'm not going to let you bury yourself. I told Taylor this one time, is I said, I can't let you go on stage and fail just to prove that I was right, because you get one career, maybe two. I can get 100 as a manager. So it's building that trust to where, as a teenage female too, it's like, sometimes the men in your life, you shut them off. You don't hear them. And I can't be effective with you if we don't have that line of communication. And you go through enough as it is, putting yourself out there every day. You don't need that from me too. You know what I mean? It's like, so maybe it's my mom, maybe it's my daughter, maybe it was Taylor, maybe it was the Miss Americas. Who knows? But
I love that.
You and I were just at a women's conference together, and I love empowering strong women. It's like I always said, I want to surround you with strong females, because you are a strong female and you're going to continue to be a strong female, and you will lead other women and young ladies to become strong females. And I want to feel like I played a part in that, because if the world is full of strong females, we're a better world. So
I agree with that. And I think that also, like,
go estrogen.
Sure. No, I think it's having confidence in your own abilities that helps, when you want someone else to win. I think that's because you are confident in yourself, and you know that, like, there's moments for you to win and there's moments for other people to win, and you don't need to be kicking the ball into the goal. Is that what it's called?
Well, it is called a goal.
You don't need to be kicking the ball into the goal to be a part of the goal, and a part of the win.
Everyone wants to feel like they're getting the credit that they deserve. But when a manager, when it's going right, it's the artist and the label. When it's going wrong, it's the manager.
Yeah.
Going in that our job is to lift you up.
Absolutely.
Oh, 68 minutes.
I know. Where did the time go? Rick, you talk too much.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. No, this was great. And I'm really glad that we got to do this episode. And thank you so much for coming on. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to do another one at some point, but I think it's really fun to kind of pull the curtain back. And I think that a lot of how things happen in the music industry is very, like, unseen and unknown. And I think it's fun to talk about. I think that an artist and a manager is the closest relationship that you really have in this career. And I think it's fun to kind of show that partnership that's most of the time so unseen.
Awesome.
Thank you for doing this.
And thank him for reminding us that,
I know, seriously.
we had gone so far over.
So
but
much
it's your
longer.
show, so you go as long as you want.
Yeah, 70 minutes. Maybe we'll break it up into 2 episodes.
3.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
You're
for being
welcome.
on, Rick. And thank y'all so much for watching this. I really hope that you'll subscribe, give it a good review. It means so much, seriously. And if you would send this to your friends, send this to someone you think would like it, that really helps. We're just in the early stages of this podcast. So every view, every person who tunes in really makes such a big difference. And I hope to see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of New Friends. I really hope you loved it. It would mean so much to me if you'd subscribe to my channel on YouTube and send this to someone who you think might enjoy it. Hope to see you in the next episode.